chat. It's going to be Blood Covenant between these two. Quite the battle at hand. Athena versus Galena. And we'll see who's going to take map number 1 and get this series started on the right foot.
Should be yeah, slightly less chaotic than we've seen today already. I'm predicting on this pick map. CNZ doesn't like that level of chaos, but has it in him to also play to that pace. maxter, initiation damage, but doesn't have a rail. Quite happy to cut off all the angles and actually take CNZ on, who goes barreling through the choke point. maxter's more than happy to oblige to take that fight on, and he does cleanly. They're both pretty unhealthy though, so retreat to their respective sides of the maps. But there we go. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it will be a bloodbath.
Yeah, a bit of a skirmish there. Both players were tender, but they restacked as pretty well. Lots of machine gun damage. CNZ living and dying by the rail, and again, both players extremely weak. But items up for both in terms of the majors, so they should be able to restack. CNZ actually gets the best of it as maxter has no armor to his name. Is going to recoup on some rockets here. CNZ just missing out on an opportunity for more chip damage. maxter sans rail here, needs to be very careful of this engagement, trying to rely on maybe some Hail Mary rockets. Gets a little bit of a chip with that one, but definitely wants to make his way onto the rail sooner rather than later. A little bit of a dance here. Good LG as CNZ actually jumps across to deny that armor shard.
Yeah, and this is a good, clearly the game plan from CNZ, and Blood Covenant is probably the best map where you can contain that rail because it's a very vulnerable position to go and pick it up. So CNZ is doing a good job by just positioning on that side of the map, playing slower around that area. He's all good, bounced up the jump pad though. This will be a big engagement. maxter doesn't come out on top. CNZ connecting with more and just having more of a stack. First blood CNZ. And you see he's actually going to build this other stack down in this area here. You were never going to go in there. He does get hurt, I believe, though, maxter in the area, so he might go out of his way to try and take that out. Does get himself a rail, but it eats some damage for his troubles, and that's the best of the situation you want as a CNZ fan. And he's playing this one spot on, as one would expect.
And that missed hook was going to be a perfect cutoff into Rocket, potentially tying frag, but instead he just has to settle for some damage, and CNZ has already recouped here. And that's a great rail from the stairwell, the fortress that is Galena right there. Absolute nightmare if maxter makes a false move going into there. CNZ holding strong onto this one frag lead.
No, but there is a time and a place where maxter has to try and go out of his way to take that down, because otherwise CNZ almost has a permanent oversnap in his pocket, a permanent mega in his pocket, which means he doesn't have to take the risk to go over to that side of the map. He can just patrol the stairwell, take his overstack whenever he needs it. So whilst it's difficult, maxter will be more than aware of this. You know, it's not a secret that that's the place you're going to put them if you're playing heavy side.
Potential here for some damage, and
there he goes. There he goes.
Easy cleanup for maxter. Now he has positioning on the heavy, and instead he's going to take the fight to CNZ.
Wow. What a rocket from CNZ in retaliation, but the play from maxter was spot on, catching it completely off guard, and this is why Athena is such a fun champion to watch. It is 1-1 though, so now it's maxter's turn to see if he can control this rail area, because that's what CNZ's been playing around. So if he can take that weapon away, a lot of the utility and game plan from CNZ is gone. He's lost the overstack as well, so he's almost got to reset mentally and start again.
Oh, just lining up the rail, but he doesn't even need to line it up. He flicks back to it and gets some good damage there. Looking for a little bit more as he makes his way towards the heavy.
Oh, what a rail from CNZ hitting the initiation. maxter needs to try and respond now. CNZ is trapped in that corner, but maxter decides to let him go. Has got the mega though, so he should have a timing on it, and that's what he needs. And it's such a cagey match, very back and forth. That's what we expect out of CNZ. maxter taking the engagement. Big rocket from CNZ and the conversion. What play that is. And this is why it's so difficult to push him.
So trailing by a frag. maxter looking for a rail, but CNZ nowhere to be found as he drops down, takes the telly instead. No LG for maxter. Does need to keep that in mind for these mid-range fights that may break out.
You can see what maxter wants to do, and he's making the right moves. It's just he's running into perfect execution from CNZ. He knows he's there. Actually, maybe shouldn't have had that weapon out. maxter pushes up. is quite low, so won't make any more advances off the back of that. CSZ is happy to trade, but no, Max is in position to do some damage.
Oh,
After
beautiful.
again trying to take the initiative. Lovely rails through the pillars there. CNZ is just playing the choke points, trying to push on up, but that's another dangerous move. The rails where it's at, connects again. Should be able to win himself a heavy, but he actually wants to close it out.
Good damage after the Mega. Still a little bit of an overstack left. maxter looking to melt that down, potentially get the tying frag. There's a good rail. It's a big opening. The shotgun just chipping down CNZ, barely alive, and there it is. The buckshot lands. maxter's able to tie it at 2.
And you can feel the momentum shifting just by watching this. Oh, nearly hits that rail. That would have been great, but there's the second. He does hit that one. And you can feel that CNZ is on the ropes. Now he's just playing keep away rather than playing positional, rather than playing the items. Needs to get it back into this set, find a solid position to defend it. Otherwise, maxter is just playing almost a free reign, which is scary going up against the Athena. And so often he was hitting those early shots, the initiation rails. Since he has started to miss, and that is why this momentum is shifting so heavily.
Struggling with the rail is 72% for maxter, 45% for CNZ. And it shows a little bit as maxter dive bombs, trying to read where CNZ is. Good damage from the bridge for CNZ, and now he can retreat onto the Mega as the heavy's picked up by maxter.
And that's what he needed. He just needed to connect and have a little breathing space. It is very, very painful as a light champion in particular to be on the receiving end of a rail or some big damage. And now you can see that Max is himself taking it a little bit slower than he was just even 30 seconds ago. And CNZ has that position he so desperately wanted. He's also won himself a heavy, and you can see, even though he's been on the back foot, he's maintaining that timing. Equally, maxter is as well. He's got himself onto that Mega. CNZ actually decides to switch to the heavy machine gun, which I like, because that is the consistent damage he needs.
maxter needs to re-up on rail slugs, as you saw there. Realizing he didn't have any more, and now he's going to make his way towards there temporarily. Just making sure that it's safe at first. Utilize the machine gun, and the LG just dead on accurate. CNZ pulls ahead by 1 frag, but good damage done by maxter, and he's following up off the spawn with some brilliant machine gun.
He's taken it, but he's got nothing to work with, and CNZ will want to try and keep the pressure on him, but maxter does get himself away. CNZ is going to try and defend the rail. If he does so successfully, maxter's in a bit of trouble now for the final 2 minutes. There's not much he can do without making a really risky play with his grapple again, but CNZ will play in the open areas, knowing there's not much he can do from a distance. And he might not even leave this side of the map. He might just want to control the rail now, which he does. Having hit that rail, though, that's a different situation. Now he can push on in. maxter even misses the Mega. He gets out, but with what? And at what cost? He's so low. And he cannot afford to give away another frag. He should have himself a rail now, so that's the only saving grace. But look at the health 40. What can you do in this situation with 1.5 minutes to go?
If CNZ rocket jumps up, this could be a nightmare. maxter 1 step closer to the edge. Is he about to break here? Is CNZ going around the stairwell, and he's gone? But he has to be... Oh my god, the emergency brake put on right before the totem. maxter, fancy footwork. Still only 60 HP, Dan. Hanging by a thread.
He is, but he knows he doesn't need to win. He just needs to tie it. That's all that's in his mind. And if he gives away a frag, it's over. If he stays in it, he at least has a chance. He's got himself a first light. He's got himself a rail. He has the opportunity to come back into it. He hits one, but that is a massive rail from CNZ. He can just stride on in and finish this game. But the rocket nearly connects with the rail as well. CNZ actually second guesses what he should be doing, and he'll just stay up top. He says, if you want to come at me, but I'm not giving you an angle to play with.
It's a rail. Pressure mounting on CNZ. Drops the totem. No rockets for maxter, but the Mega's in his pocket. He's got 5 rails and some shotgun to work with. Dealing with the totem, he's got less than 20 seconds now to try and get this one. Good LG.
But the movement error! And And that's all he needed. He needed to keep in the game, and he needed a rail, and maxter did both, and he's done more than that. He could take the game away. He knows he himself could just be vulnerable, even to a starting shotgun, so wisely plays positional.
What a turn of events here, Dan. As maxter playing perfectly to tie it at 3, taking his time, full map control, and just insane pressure on CNZ. He has to play that style of defense that we've seen him do time and time again. Nice little bait hook there.
Yeah, that was a nice maneuver. CNZ not falling for it though. He's still sticking in the area, just has to play the choke points, and maxter is more than aware at this stage in the game, the way in which CNZ has been playing, not going to fall for it. Instead, just trying to take these range duels. This one not working out quite as much as he wanted it to, and he nearly actually falls to the pressure, not connecting with any rails. He could have finished the game there and then. Has some items to fall back on, so he's okay.
Oh my god.
CNZ's in the area! No way, what a rocket that was! Has to be here.
No!
And he goes on, he misses! What?
How did that happen? He had him dead to rights, the buckshot misses, and CNZ takes it away from maxter, pries it out of his hands with his shaft, and that is heartbreaking for maxter and maxter fans. Holy, expletive here. That is insane. That is a terrible way to end that. That is heartbreaking. Everything hurts.
Yeah, even the players laughed at that. That is just... I just don't know what there's nothing you can analyze there. That's just...
Shoddy Pippin going in for the dunk and just rim. Just nothing but rim. And that... Yeah, like you said, that's not even a misplay. That is just unfortunate at best. Maxter played that so well, too. To be able to come back... minute 30 left, down 1, tie it, play for overtime, knowing that you're going to have to win it in sudden death, and to have it end like that. Ouch.
That's lol. It's the only expression.
Yeah, Kilson somewhere is just like lol, but broken. Broken is our maxter fans right now, and rightfully so. That is a heartbreaking loss. Maxter, of course, resilient as we're going to prepare for map number 2, but those are the stats from map number 1. An absolute just... chess match. Wonderful to watch. It
was a wonderful match, and as you said, it was a chess match. Maxter with the mobility, less of a stack. CNZ with less mobility, more of a stack, and just repositioning, out positioning, changing strategy. Maxter adjusting. It was very back and forth. I mean, in context, you have to say Maxter should have won that. Like, there is no doubt about it. He forged that comeback. He forged that opportunity. He fudged that opportunity, and CNZ does take map 1. So, well played, I guess. He did it. He still played exceptionally well, even if he probably shouldn't have won it in the last moments. But we move on. We move on to Deep Embrace, and we can see if maxter can recollect himself.
Yeah, I mean, that is just pure, you're kicking yourself for what just happened. But shouts to CNZ for staying cool in the moment and just trusting in his LG and saying, okay, like, if you kill me, great, but I'm not just going to give up. I'm not dead to rights. I'm going to keep fighting my way out of this, and maybe that 0.1% chance that we just saw happen will happen, and he took it. So out of maxter's hands and into CNZ's pockets as we go to map number 2, and I can't help but feel like off the back of that, CNZ is in position to take this set now. And that is just so much going through maxter's mind, I imagine. Or maybe it's just, well, that sucks. Next map, please.
Yeah, that's just, it's one of the situations you have to put behind you. They both played phenomenally well, and so you just have to move on and accept it. It's just, CNZ executed, maxter didn't. Simple as that.
I can't believe it. I can't believe it. It was so well played, too, and just to come down to that. And with the shotgun of all weapons, a fickle shrew is that weapon. Sometimes you'll get 140 damage, other times you won't hit anything. I don't know how to feel about it. It just hurts.
It is what it is. CNZ played a great map, and so he fully deserves to win. It was just really bad execution in the final moments. Deep Embrace, very different. I don't think it'll be played out in the same way. CNZ can't afford to play as slow of a game, particularly picking Anarchy. He has to try and be the one to set the tempo. It's not nice to be on the back foot as an Anarchy. You want to be the one playing aggressive, and so he's going to have to change tack a little bit. There are different ways to play this. He could just play very much around the heavy, keep it nice and slow, force messy fights in that area. That's maybe what he's doing. I think I've seen him play similar styles before in the past. It can be frustrating, but as a Doom, you do have good ways and good utility to get up and close the gap. So CNZ is going to have to be very wary, but he's one of the best at playing the angles, one of the best at playing the corners. So maxter, once again, will learn he has to respect that.
Oh, he gonna learn today. Maxter is doing a quick restart, changing some settings after that heartbreaking loss, so we will get into map number 2 shortly. But I'm more interested to see, again, with the Doom pick, the Berserk is more of a movement element than anything. So off the spawn, I want to see if Maxter utilizes that in any way to try and take full control of the map. Against an Anarchy, going to be tough because, again, very speedy boy. But I would be interested to see what Maxter does off the spawn with that Doom in hand. But yeah, still reeling from map number 1. That is quite the finish. One of the more insane finishes that we've seen here on the Quake Pro League.
Yeah, what it really was, particularly the way in which Maxter even got it to overtime. That was pretty phenomenal in itself. So to lose it was heartbreaking. But he is 1-0 to CNZ. I said it should be a 2-1 to Maxter. So let's see how that one plays out. CNZ is well in this. But this is Maxter's map choice now. And it's actually, well, it's his best map in my opinion. And so I do expect CNZ to try and slow it down because Maxter, as we know, will want to play fast and rail-based.
Looking at the predictions real quick, 61% in favor of Maxter. Shouts to Dramas in the chat, cheering on his teammate. He knew he had it all the time, and it's completely fine. But yeah, 61% in favor of Maxter on map number 2. I think they saw the magic that Maxter was working with, and they were like, can't believe that didn't work. They dropped the lamp at the very last moment and it shattered. But map number 2 is a brand new start, and we'll see if Maxter can have a better finish on this one here as we are loading in shortly. Thanks for waiting and hanging out with Dan and myself as we get map number 2 prepared for everybody.
Exciting times. Well, at least they maybe enjoy hanging out with you.
Me? I miss you. One day.
No, I didn't say me. I said at least chat would enjoy.
Oh, I thought. Sorry, I'm just. Yeah.
No,
we could be friends one day. That's cool.
So
Anyways, map number 2.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
All right, map number 2 live here between Maxter and CNZ. Let's see if Maxter can shake that map 1 loss off and get back on track here.
Oh, missing
Oh,
shotgun.
for no missing shotgun. Oh,
Fine.
Maxter. I love it.
Aggressive play from Maxter off the bat with the lightning gun going up the jump pad. CNZ not in position, actually kills. Oh, he doesn't. He uses the shotgun. Brave man. Oh, he's pinned him as well. Actually swaps to the shotgun this time. CNZ already on the ropes. Max doesn't even need the rail.
Yeah, I mean, right after that situation, he goes right back to the shotgun, and he's like, I swear this thing works. So, I like it. Good confidence, as you said. Maxter up 1-0 early. Going to be able to get a clean heavy on this one and make his way onto the rail for the first time this game.
Nice and slow. And you can see the respect from Maxter. Understanding, you know, CNZ is more than capable playing on the defense. Actually afraid to push on out into the mid-ground. Knows where CNZ is, and actually he's the one now slowing it down. Nice back-to-back rails. That will cripple the Anarchy. Doesn't pop the inject though. Nice and confident in his ability to recoup his stack without it. So holding onto that is going to be key. And in the meantime, Max has actually got out onto this mid-ground as well. And the Anarchy's pushing in. This is what I said. You want to be using the Anarchy in this way, being super aggressive, pushing the tempo, and he's done well. Got Maxter on the back foot. And they're going to exchange position. Maxter is now relegated to the low ground. Doesn't have any items to work with down here as CNC is taking them all away.
Little shotgun blast, but damage firmly in CNZ's favor as he lands a rail. Mega will go to Maxter as he misses with a rail, and he needs to be careful. CNZ going through the telly here. Now Maxter caught in a bit of a pickle. Has one rocket to work with. Can double jump out of here, but might take some damage. There's a little bit of a bait. There's a double jump into some good LG into a rail. But a rail of his own from CNZ and Maxter, 5 HP.
Yeah, I really like the way CNZ is playing the Anarchy, just using the speed, pressuring the Doom, because as much as the Doom is great for getting around the map, at the end of the day, the Anarchy is still quicker than you. And so CNZ is abusing that fact to push positions earlier and force more of a reactionary play style out of Maxter. Nice
Nice rail there from Maxter off the sound cue. able to double jump his way onto the heavy a little bit early. Items perfectly in sync now. Here's the jump pad trying to get some more damage, but now he's out of rockets. Has to be careful if CNZ decides to push this. He's just holding the middle ground, it looks like, as maxter re-ups on rail, but he needs to prioritize rockets as well.
Yeah, I don't think CNZ is aware of that, but it doesn't really matter. Maxter's playing the range game, trying to connect these rails, which he is doing. He is slightly better on the angles than CNZ at this point in time. So while CNZ has the position, he's getting picked apart now and again by these rails. So he needs to try and adjust to that. And he's been pushed in. Maxter realizing he's got an opening, and he's so quick to seize it.
That's one way to get it done. A rail off the spawn as well to cut off onto the Mega. CNZ lucky to get out of there here as maxter prioritizes the Mega instead, doesn't want to give up that item, and the split between the items is massive, Dan. He should be able to casually make his way back onto this, nice, especially after connecting that rail.
Yeah, exactly. And now this is where it can get painful. If CNZ can't pick up any damage of his own, he'll be trapped out of the map. But he's done a good job so far. Whilst he hasn't had any real control, it's only 2-0 for you. This is what we saw on the last map. CNZ keeping it close, even if he doesn't have a lead. As soon as he gets a frag, he can keep it, but maxter is not even showing a chink in his armor at this point in time.
Beautiful frag there, using that shaft. Missing with the rail, but setting up for damage again. Big damage. CNZ does hit a fadeaway rail. Inject comes out looking for a little bit more. Nice lobbed rocket, and CNZ battling his way out of a corner, but just missing out. Maxter bests him with that final rail, but down to 9 HP. This is an opportunity for CNZ to play a little aggressive and try and get this refrag if he's quick enough, and it doesn't look like he's going to, Dan.
No, instead actually went for the weaponry. He has got himself back onto the item, so just playing perhaps the long game with this, but he's been caught on the jump pad. Huge rockets coming out from CNZ, from maxter, should I say. Got CNZ on the ropes once again, and since maxter's had control, he's played the high ground much, much better. And CNZ there, a little bit careless in trying to get up onto the high ground and punished for it.
Beautiful rail from maxter. On return for CNZ, inject used as well. There's another rail right on top of the Mega. Luckily for CNZ, grabs that on his way out, but maxter just patrolling this high ground, doing his rounds, doing a very good job here. Fantastic rocket, nice. But my God!
Okay. Okay.
That's a bit of glory through that hole there, Dan. 5-0 for maxter. What a shot. What a combination. Hit him with a two-piece, long distance. LG on LG as well. CNZ doesn't want it, and he can't get out. Can't run away. They'll find me. 6-0, and maxter. You think he's a little mad about map number 1, Dan?
He's just, the way he plays this map, he knows all of the angles so well. And
oh no. Oh no.
Okay. It's now looking real bleak for CNZ. It's looking real bleak because he's got no items and no life. Maxter is running away with this one. Still 4 minutes to go, but there is a huge deficit in terms of momentum and score. Ouch.
Oh, he doesn't even let him go through the telly, Mad Maxter. You're insane.
And this is just one of those performances similar to the Rafa one earlier, which is just a clinic on a particular map. And there have been moments where Max has had to slow down the pace, and there's been moments where he's pushed the aggression. His decisions have been spot on, his executions have been there, and he's just understood how, when, and where, and what to do.
7 minutes for the first frag, Dan. That is insane to be locked out of a map for that long.
Now, can he make it count? Can he follow it up? This is also why Anarchy's a little bit hard on this map, in particular, to execute. Because if you get out of control, you get out of momentum, the snowball is strong. So he wasn't able to prevent that in the long run. But at least now he's on the board and got himself back a semblance of control for now. Max is positioning, but he's really early for that. In fact, he's just trying to get away at this point, seeing as he's chasing him down. And there he does. He can just get a frag. And so how much of a comeback can he forge?
CNZ is not done yet. 8 frag deficit. He might cut off here. I think maxter just caught a glimpse of him for the double back. There's a fadeaway rail, but the LG will push him away. And, you know, for 7 minutes of this map, I'm going to say one of my favorite things that Ketchup says. He didn't allow CNZ to play the game. It was all maxter, and CNZ wasn't even allowed to play. And now, after that LG, he's relegated again to the lower ground, trying to stack back up off the scraps, and maxter takes the high ground again.
Yeah, and even it wasn't one of those performances for the most part where maxter had dominant control for the whole game. You know, it was pretty 50-50 for the first 3 or 4 minutes. It was more maxter just knows how to play an aggressive defense. The way he wasn't pushing out, he was picking angles, pulling CNZ apart until he found the right moment to execute. And then the snowball began to happen. So that's why it was a really impressive performance. But CNZ is still very much putting in some great shots and building his way back into the set. It's just one of those where it's too little too late.
Wow, and maxter trying everything in his power to melt him down, and he can't do it. Inject is up. 25 at hand, risking it for the biscuit. At this point, he has to with a minute left. But I don't think that the magic will be there for CNZ, unfortunately. There's just not enough time, Dan.
But it will make him feel, you know, ever so slightly better to have felt like he had a shot. But it is now going to move on to 1-1 as we move on to Insomnia. And this is where we're going to have that Visor against Nyx. What are you feeling, 40, from what you've seen in this matchup so far?
Hitting him with a classic on map number 3 to decide it. First of all, I wouldn't have it any other way. Beautiful rail from maxter there. But on Insomnia, I feel like Nyx has the slight edge. I mean, there's so many tight corridors, so many wall jumps you could do to evade damage and just get across the map. The vision... Oh, no! Okay, a little bit of a swim. Just a dip to cool off. In my opinion, I feel like that one is going to go advantage, at least, to maxter. He may not pull it out completely, but I feel like based on the champ pick.
Okay. Good to know.
As that seals up map number 2. maxter with a dominant performance. As you said, a little bit back and forth, but still the scoreboard was all maxter there for the first 7 minutes. Took a long time for CNZ to just get on the board, all that work he had to do. And yeah, it could have been that maxter had the series, but because of that one flub with the shotgun, it is now going to map number 3 to decide it. So this one's going to be a close one, Dan, on Insomnia.
Yeah, it is. I think partly on this particular map, said Anarchy is not the most picked champion on here. It's quite difficult to execute well, and we saw exactly why. The Doom is a staple if you want to play something like a Doom, because it's so easy to play, and I actually didn't really see the use of the Berserk pretty much at all. It's just all about that double jump, getting in the right position, having a decent enough stat to take these fights. But the way maxter reads this map, he knows the angles inside out. He not only makes it very hard for his opponents to hit him, he just smacks you down with 70% rail. Like, that's why it's so difficult to play against maxter on this map, because you're constantly on the back foot.
Yeah, that's a brutal rail to deal with there. As we take a look at the stats for map number 2, CNZ is going for a bit of a restart, a little bit of a breather too. Maybe he has some settings he'd like to tweak before map number 3, as it's all on the line for this series between these two. Next map takes it. And like we said, it's going to be Insomnia, Nyx versus Visor, the Classico, and it should be a good one. I feel like based on the first 2 maps, the play styles, the champ picks on this one, it's going to be a close one. Definitely another chess match, in my opinion. Or it could just be a bloodbath, Dan. I don't know.
No, I expect this one to be quite slow-paced. That to play, he wants to play tactful, and you know, being a Visor, it's quite hard to play super aggressive, and particularly against the Nyx, you want to be more reserved. So this will definitely be more of a chess match. Don't really know how to read this one. Haven't seen these two players play this map an awful lot, so it's always difficult without that kind of knowledge going into it.
Yeah, first time we saw Deep Embrace and Insomnia today, so always good to see these maps. But definitely as the season rolls along, it's nice to see Insomnia more and more, as it is the new map in the pool, and to see what champions people play and how they implement their strategy into the map. is nice. So we'll see that unfold. At first, it was a lot of Ranger. Ranger was very, very strong, and then we also had the meta shift where they moved the rail to the power-up area to kind of mitigate some of the OP. Well, I mean, the whole spot was just OP, to be completely honest. So it was just broken. That was just broken. So they fixed it, and the map plays a lot better now. But again, we're still kind of seeing the evolution of what champions are used and what people prefer. So definitely going to be interesting to see Nyx versus Visor. I'm not sure if we've seen this exact matchup on this map before. It may be the first.
I definitely haven't casted it, so...
Yeah, so we'll just Flea is somewhere running the numbers right now, but for now I'll just say that this is the first time we're going to see Nyx versus Visor on Insomnia. So debut match here on map number 3 in this set between Maxter and CNZ.
Yeah, I'm not... I generally prefer the Nyx pick on here, but it's obviously going to come down to how well they play, right? But I think in theory Nyx is slightly more impactful. It has just the highest ceiling, if you want to use that word. But we'll honestly have to see. The way Maxter was railing in the last one, this map again is a very rail-heavy dependent one. I can see CNZ trying to slow it down, play around the mega area where you can play that choke point. But Maxter will want to try and pick up that rail, get on that ledge, play the angles. That's the way I see this one going down.
I agree. I feel like, again, the edge does go to Nyx, but it's all in the hands of the player. 66% in favor of Maxter on this one in the predictions. I think we kind of echo the same thoughts here on this one, thinking Maxter, you locked in your Maxter 2-1 and potential right here.
I actually probably would have expected this one probably to go CNZ's way out of all of them. It's a map where he can slow it
Technically,
down.
a lot of people would argue that it should have, based on map number 1 in the ending, but we'll see.
But it's a map you can slow down better than the other ones, and that will favor CNZ's playstyle. So if he can do that and frustrate Maxter and force the Ghost Walk out, then he's going to be in a great position. I do expect to be close either way, though.
Yeah, this is a bit of a narrow corridor on here, just a lot of them. You take away the rail angles, then you force your opponent through the choke points, and that is CNZ's bread and butter. So we'll see if that's exactly what he can implement. Again, Nyx with the wall jumps can get around the corners a little bit easier, and you got to be careful where you're placing your rockets because she can just wall jump right over them. Also, the invis, we might see some aggressive plays here, but we are loading into map number 3. We are going to see exactly how this will unfold for all of us here. Map number 3 between Maxter and CNZ here at Week 11 of the Quake Pro League. And yeah, this is shaping up to be one of the best sets of the day in terms of, mano-a-mano, just how close these maps are.
Kind of how we expected to go throughout the day, really. It's been a really good day so far, and this is just showing how close the league is.
Always a good day when there's Quake on the screen, and we are live right now when we are following CNZ off the spawn. Again, that Visor keeping a hold onto that vision here. Ooh, nice rail. Trying to make his way onto the rockets here, but didn't pick them up, doubled back, and now he popped that vision, knows exactly where Maxter is. Almost into his open arms, almost gets the LG tickle into rail combo.
Here we go, already taking those angles away. Needs a rocket though, but has the items at its disposal to zero trade. And this is often the way you see Insomnia played, is that because of the dynamics and geometry, players are quite happy just to stick to their side of the map rather than taking the risk to go through that mid-ground. But as I say that, he comes flying on through. Maxter's ready with the lightning gun. Doesn't do a lot of damage, but does enough to make CNZ second guess his approach. But he's the one with the higher ground. Maxter without any armor to work with as well. That's why he's playing quite slow himself. He's caught CNZ, bounced him. Luckily, does bounce back down and forced to pop out the piercing sight.
Beautiful rocket, but Mega goes to CNZ, so it's all fluff damage here, as Maxter does have a rail now. Creeping away, might get some free damage here. Big 64 into 15, more damage into the LG should be enough, but that defensive rail saves CNZ's life. So clutched in.
I mean, the rocket that knocked him away was superb, both doing huge amounts of damage to each other, so we will reset for another round of items if they just want to feel confident to take any of these engagements. Piercing Sight comes out once again just to confirm there were no shenanigans in the area. But he has got that. We reset once more. This is kind of playing out how we expected it. CNZ's managed to bully his way onto the high ground, just playing slow around that Mega, trying to cut off these rail angles, spamming them out. And this is exactly what we said. And he wants maxter to be frustrated. He wants maxter to overcommit. Obviously, the Ghost Walk is there, so there's always a fail-safe. But you need to force it to happen. maxter ready with a double rail through the peak shot right there. And here comes the Ghost Walk. He's actually caught him up here now. Can CNZ get out unscathed? The question is, the answer is no, in fact.
Oh no, and he's still kind of stuck and just missing out on that angle as maxter uses the wall jump. It actually blocks his vision of a potential frag there. Rail from CNZ is good. maxter wants a little bit more. Does land his now, and that's going to force CNZ out of there. As again, he's very weak and just missing, threading the needle.
But you can see how desperate maxter is to force the initiative. So far, he's connecting with everything. But he's one of these situations where if these exchanges don't go his way, the momentum shifts again. So maxter needs to be confident in his capability to convert. But he's not overcommitting just yet, so it's all okay.
All good for now. 3 minutes in, tied at 0, and maxter just creeping around this Mega. I think he heard that for sure, and now he's just waving hello to CNZ.
Yeah, just waiting it out, and this is the cat and mouse game we have now, where they both have abilities to catch each other off guard. And the map is such where it is quite a stalemate for large periods of time. Very difficult to make aggressive maneuvers. It's such narrow corridors to get to one side to the other.
Oh, the tri-ball just missing. And that rail, CNZ down to 13 on maxter. When maxter goes in for another rail, but CNZ ready with the machine gun. He puts the first frag of the map on the board and in his pocket. maxter right back onto that rail, down to 76, but does have the Mega and Ghost Walk and a rail. CNZ so hurt, steals away the heavy. maxter not confident enough to try and push it on that.
No, it's actually really hard for maxter now to actually make a move without... Because whenever he hits these initiation rails, even if he follows up the Ghost Walk, it's expected. CNZ's already retreating, so it is really, really tough to pull out maneuvers with the Nyx here. And someone like CNZ, who is the master of playing these slow games, you've got to do something pretty special to get a frag.
See how special it gets here as the rocket into rail combo just misses, and maxter has him where he wants him. He just can't land the damage. There's the armor shard pickup, and there's a little bit of rail damage to part ways, but CNZ gets out alive, still has the 1 frag lead, but for how long, Dan?
maxter knows he's got CNZ weak, so wants to make something happen, but without hitting any rails, he has to retreat, and that gives a lot of breathing room for CNZ. But saying that, maxter's come flying back in. He's got him trapped in the corridor. He has to make this count. And he does, with the rail, in fact, of all weapons. He's actually out of rockets, so he has to go in with the lightning gun, and he does with the conversion.
Beautiful play there from maxter. CNZ, I guess Silver Lining does steal away the Mega, but didn't really do a ton of damage to maxter, so maxter should be able to get back in on this heavy shortly afterwards.
Really nice play on that heavy to double back and take it away. Extra nice to maintain timing and that presence of mind throughout. So maxter's on form at this point in time, but it's still 2-1. He catches him through the TP once again. Can't get the finish just yet. CNZ sticking around, but neither one of the players connecting. Long time before the next round of items, so it will now reset once again. But maxter catching him out again with the double back twice now. So smart from the Argentinian.
You gotta love it here as maxter takes the 2 frag lead. Should cut off here at the heavy. CNZ full commit with the nails, and that's gonna cost him his life. It's not! The shotgun comes up huge!
Oh, shotgun MVP this series. Oh my word.
Wow, man. Gobsmacked, Dan. As maxter still in the lead by 1, great rail there. As maxter trying to escape, does have the Ghost Walk just in case. Heavy is up, Mega going to be shortly after, and maxter just trying to figure out exactly where CNZ might be so he can go the other way, as he doesn't have any armor to his name. Almost guesses wrong, but instead can back up safely onto the Mega. There's a drop down, there's a cutoff, a little bit of a rocket. Wow, what a rail from CNZ.
Yeah, but that's one of those situations where maxter's somewhat overextending. Doesn't need to make the maneuver, and now look at him. He's on the ropes because of it, gets caught out on top. CNZ flying on through. Actually doesn't chase, instead just wants to take it with the light. Not sure about that one. Oh, he forces out the Ghost Walk, so they will have to stick around and fight here, and he tries to drop, tries to get away, but he just can't.
And the machine gun just enough to stop CNZ from getting on the platform and finishing that kill as maxter steals away the heavy, or excuse me, the mega, and the heavy goes to CNZ, and the shotgun blast to the chest puts him in the lead.
Yeah, now CNZ, with the momentum himself, is reading maxter. Some really smart plays coming out from CNZ here, and it's going to be a big uphill battle for maxter to get back in control now. He's got nothing to work with. CNZ pushing in, he knows he's got him on the ropes, and there's the conversion with 2 minutes to go. 40. Chances are slim for maxter here, and another one coming out. He's going to have to pop the Ghost Walk, but really, is he going to? He is, but now he's just wasted his only lifeline.
Oh no!
And it doesn't even matter.
Max's damage, I mean, that's the best he could do, but right after that, Mega's gone, and CNZ is back to a decent stack. Less than 2 minutes, maxter has to start chaining together some rails and big damage, but CNZ just, he's going to be able to kind of glide into that defensive playstyle through the choke points that we've seen time and time again, and this is one of them right here. What choice do you have? maxter trying to force the situation here, force the issue, and he's hitting some rails, hitting some rockets, but it's not big damage. That one is, but can't connect with the rail, and CNZ is out of there. Back to the Mega yet again, Dan.
Just playing the items, and then maxter's forced to take a risk, and he has to pop the Ghost Walk just to even try and take a rail, and CNZ is all over this one. It's so difficult. As you said, he can just play the choke points. Doesn't need to do anything silly at this point, and he won't. He's one of the best players at controlling a map, controlling the tempo. So if maxter wants to go, he's going to go through some choke point without a Ghost Walk up and undoubtedly die. So really well played by CNZ to take this one home.
Perhaps the final Mega in maxter's pocket now, as he has to just start pushing pedal to the metal right now. 40 seconds remaining. Ghost Walk in hand and popped for an aggressive play, and CNZ can just escape up the jump pad. There's the rocket jump, nice and aggressive, but he's not landing the damage he needs. Instead, CNZ doing good damage to keep him away. And we go again. There's the vision pop, so he knows exactly where maxter may be aggressing from, and this one is over, Dan, just like that.
It is close series throughout. Obviously, map 2 was a bit of a brawl from maxter's perspective, but you know, map 1 and map 3 couldn't have been any closer. And CNZ takes it home with some really great play on Insomnia.
Wow, beautiful, beautiful sequence there to end it. 7-3 officially, the final score on map number 3, and CNZ takes this set 2-1 over maxter. After just such a close map number 1, a bit of a blowout on map number 2, he comes back poised, takes map number 3, and, you know, maybe Nyx isn't the best pick. I mean, CNZ's playstyle with the visor was just chef's kiss on Insomnia.
Nyx is one of those picks with highs and lows. We saw both sides of it today. I did say this is the map I would have expected to go CNZ's way in a 2-1, and he won it 2-1 in the end, with this being one of them. So really well played. You know, you can see how hard he is to break down when he gets to set the tempo. He gets his control. He's so smart. He reads players extremely, extremely well, and just knows how to control tempos, as well as having some incredible aim throughout. So really well played by CNZ. I'm sure maxter will be a bit frustrated. That map 1 was definitely in his grip, but in the day, you got to be in a set to win it, and that's exactly what CNZ did.
Absolutely, and shouts to the 32% of you in chat that predicted that CNZ would take it. Big winners. Big, big winners. We're all winners when we're watching Quake, but those are the stats for map number 3, 7-3 officially done and dusted in Insomnia, and that's 3 series under our belt, and we have potentially the biggest one yet. Razy versus Wenger coming up shortly. These two have won back-to-back 2v2 tournaments, and now they have to turn on each other, Dan. You don't want to miss this one if you're a Quake fan, so we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back with the last set of the day, Razy and Wenger, shortly.